I got to transition. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I saw it and then I read the article. And to be quite honest with you, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with Sue Bird, okay? Sue Bird, Hall of Fame caliber, Sue Bird, WNBA, college basketball. Matter of fact, one of the best people that I've ever met, or one of the best women I've ever met in professional or collegiate sports. I love her. But I didn't appreciate this article that I read, okay, when it came to her talking about yours truly. Because you see, far be it, this is the headline, y'all. Sue Bird calls out ESPN host for, quote, hating on WNBA playoff ratings after Caitlin Clark's exit. You say, what? Why? Why, y'all? Really? This is where we have to go? Can we put her quotes up on the screen, please? Because I want everybody to know what she said. What she said about your boy, okay? This is the wonderful, the marvelous Sue Bird. I love her to death. Love her. Interviewed her a few times. I'm such a fan. But this is what she said. Viewership numbers with Caitlin Clark are astronomical. She is a big draw. She brings in all the things. And yes, the games where she's not playing have lower viewership. But in the WNBA playoffs, and we'll use the semifinals, where Caitlin obviously is not in it because her team lost, are still breaking records from previous WNBA years and are still cracking 1 million viewers. She continues because she brings up my name. So these numbers are still really high and they're still really meaningful. And yet some people continue to flip that. I've seen Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I've seen Shannon Sharp talk about it. And what I don't understand is they work for ESPN. So why are you hating on a business ESPN is in? I want to say the semifinals games are up like 130%, and that's without Caitlin, end quote. I'm going to dial it back and be as respectful as I can possibly be. Once again, Sue Bird is a champion, Hall of Fame caliber, and a beautiful person. I am a huge fan of her as a person and player. One of the great pleasures I've had was interviewing her in the past. I'm only addressing her points about me and what she said in relation to the whole Caitlin Clark story. Respectfully, Sue Bird, you are inaccurate. It is just that simple. First things first. We cover sports, right? Don't we cover sports? Looking at one of my producers, Sherry, do we cover sports? Do we cover sports? Aaron, do we cover sports? Griff, do we cover sports? I think we cover sports. So if somebody got arrested, I can't bring that up. When Brittany Griner was taken prisoner in Russia unfairly, we didn't touch that. When Ray Rice got in trouble, we didn't touch that. When Ray Caruth did what he did, that was a crime. He was convicted of killing the mother of his child, of his unborn child. Did we cover that? When ratings are through the roof, are we going to cover it? When Damar Hamlin nearly died on the field, did we cover it? Go outside the world of sports. The pop and entertainment world, they ain't talking about P. Diddy. The Hollywood Reporter ain't talking about him. TMZ ain't talking about him. Entertainment Tonight ain't talking about him. CNN ain't talking about him. CNBC ain't talking about him. What are you talking about? The story is the story, Sue Bird. What was Stephen A. Smith and Shannon guilty of exactly? You know, everybody, Jon Stewart, who I love, by the way, calling Monica McNutt on his show. You know, she rolling out there like they just made a big time movie and she's a guest rolling up on late night television. Why? Because we got in an argument about the WNBA. And Posto don't get this message. And there's a whole bunch of people that was producing. Let me put in my Sinead name. There's a whole bunch of people. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. There's a whole bunch of people out there that's been contributing to the WNBA. What was Shannon and I saying? We were saying, do y'all see these numbers? Thanks to Caitlin Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Indiana Fever, nobody cared about them, averaged 17,035 at home this season with Caitlin Clark and over 15,000 in arenas on the road. 4 teams, 4 moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. I'm not finished. Attendance for the entire league is up nearly 50% this year, according to data from across the timeline. And Indiana leads all teams with an average attendance of 17,035, up 319% from a year ago. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages, but not like that. And then we said merchandise sales are also up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics, and Clark was the top-selling player and is fifth amongst athletes across all sports. Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. What's the problem, Sue Bird? I know that you gave her props and you acknowledged how phenomenal she was in terms of a draw. What Shannon Sharpe and I were guilty of saying was that not enough folks were appreciating it and riding the tide. A rising tide lifts all boats. People weren't doing it. Not you, not most of the league, but some. Was that not proven by the way Cheryl Swoops acted? We showed it to you. Now, stories were exaggerated. Stories were embellished. People knocking her into the ground, trying to accuse Carrington of poking her in the eye intentionally and all of that stuff. We know some of it was excessive. We also know that some members of her fan base can be racially insensitive, dare I say. We know all of that. Guess why we know? Because we covered it. We're in the news business. What do you mean, ESPN? So because I work at my day job on ESPN, I'm supposed to ignore the facts? I'm supposed to ignore the astronomical impact she has had compared to others? How Team USA was stupid for not putting her on a team to make sure you help uplift the sport even more? Don't y'all want a greater profile? Don't y'all want more notoriety? Don't y'all want more hype? I understand that it's going on still without her now that she's out of the playoffs because the games have been great. But the fact of the matter is, she swelled the interest in the sport. That made people stick around and want to watch the others. A rising tide lifts all boats, which is what we were saying, both Shannon Sharpe and myself, when we addressed that issue. Why would you say a quote like that? We work for ESPN, so I'm supposed to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the facts? That ain't what we do. And while I am quite sure, Sue Bird, that you can educate me on a game of basketball, even though I've been covering it for 30 years, because you are phenomenal. You are one beautiful human being. I love you to death. You know I do. You know I do. But I would say this to you respectfully, Sue Bird. You know basketball. I kind of know news. And I damn sure know ESPN. It doesn't matter who we have a league rights deal with, who we have a contract with, what games we air. We cover sports. The in and the outs, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we do. You've been around long enough to know that. That's how it goes. And to imply that we should just ignore the impact that Caitlin Clark had and still continues to have on this team, this league, this sport. Nah, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, Sue Bird. You are one of the many who have contributed to the upliftment of the sport in a phenomenal, incomparable way. You should have our gratitude, our appreciation. And anytime I think about the WNBA, I think about you. I think about Diana Taurasi. I think about a host of other Candace Parkers, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoop, Cynthia Cooper. The list goes on and on and on. I get all of that. But you know something? Magic Johnson did great, great things for the NBA. Larry Bird did great, great things for the NBA. But when that brother Michael Jordan came along, they stood down. Not on the basketball court competing against him, but nobody complained about the shine he received. One reason was because they knew he deserved it. You know what the other reason was? It built the profile of the NBA and made the ratings blow up and took it off a tape delay and put it on primetime television and ultimately assisted in it becoming an international globalized brand. That's what happened. That's what happened. And if the ladies, meaning all of you collectively, grasp that concept fully, devoid of resentment, you too shall reap the benefits of somebody like Caitlin Clark coming along and anybody with a similar impact who follows. Let us all get paid. That's the game. It's a game I like to play. You should too. And by the way, listen, I don't run from conversations. Sue Bird, if you got a point and you want to come on the show, you are welcome on the Stephen A. Smith Show anytime you like. You know that. And you know I love you. You know I do. I just didn't agree with that take that you gave. That's all. But I am happy to talk to you about that subject anytime you like. You are more than welcome to come right here on this show to discuss it.